Hello,
Hi,
Mustafa.
hi, how are you? Thank you for joining our podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. For our audience, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. First of all, nice to meet you. Really, I am Ugo from Italy. I work at Agile Lab. It is a data focused company. It's a 10 years company focused on the data space, from strategy to data engineering, platform engineering. And I covered the role of delivery manager in this company, where my portfolio is of about dozen of projects across multiple customers in the utility and telecommunication field.
Okay, awesome. So before we jump into our own topic, which is data mesh. Tell us about your experience and how you come into data. Tell us about your, past.
Well, my story with data starts actually with Agile Lab, because in the past I've always worked with in consultancy or professional services for product company, but in a different way for different problem spaces. Okay, but mostly the red line is a platform for always been platform. Editorial platform at the beginning, work in a company, a product company that works in the publishing industry. Then I moved to DevOps platform and DevOps engineering. And then when I joined Agile Lab, I started working in a strategic project for data platformization. And that's where I joined the company. My contribution was to manage, highly complex initiative. And then I eroded my skills on data. That is a pretty nice field in my mind, because completely different challenges than software, but there are many parallelisms. So you can really bring to data, most of your experience doing the right combination and right confrontation, and still has something to learn.
Yeah, so it's a very moving technology, although mobile applications and traditional applications are also very fast moving. But for me, there is no end of changing technologies. Technologies will keep changing based on customers, but data will always remain same. Data
Yeah.
will always be language. It's just like our language, right? We are talking in English. English will remain like this forever. It's all about different contexts will come, different usage of languages will come. So yeah, that's why this data is amazing. I'm also very, I've been in data for last 20 years, but for me, every day is a new learning, and so many new technologies keep coming in, and I myself is learning so much using it through this podcast as well, right? So this data mesh. Now coming back to our data mesh, right? So normally what I do is I draft overall architecture, and then we try to map our each topic onto the architecture. So I have come up with my own DAS architecture. Traditionally, what we have a landing area, we have a staging area, and we have a transformed area, right? This is all traditional since long, right? People call it different things, but it is the same. Medallion is same, rest are
Uh,
all same.
it's a layered architecture in the end.
Yeah, end of the day,
For
it's the same.
yeah.
Yes. So now in my DAS architecture, what I do is I bring data and AI siloed architectures together. I merge both together, right? Currently, the biggest challenge for AI right now is the availability of data. So I try to cope up that one. Along with that, I try to bring data ownership, segregation of data ownership, which come with the feasibility of cost recovery, which makes
Mhm.
much easier. And then I segregate compute layer with these storage layer. These things I do. So now coming back to this, so when we say we have landing, we have staging, we have transformed, and we know in transformed, we have a data preparation layer and we have a semantic layer. Now in data preparation layer, now when we talk about data warehousing, Normally, data warehousing was sitting into a data preparation, and a piece comes out of it, goes into semantic layer, which is made for businesses.
Yeah,
Now, this data warehousing has really matured. There is 3NF data warehouse, which is Bill. There is star schema. Normally, I'm a fan of putting star schema into a semantic layer, not in a data preparation layer. Then in data preparation layer, we have data vault. We have many agile data modeling concept like anchor modeling, many other. Now comes data lake, right? Data lake comes in. They say you throw everything into a flat file and expect and it'll work. After that, what comes? Lake house. You have
yeah.
files.
Again,
Yeah,
this is the point, right?
yeah,
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 you're in the story, changing the technology perhaps behind, but because technology wants to fix some issues that traditional technology was not able to fix. I mean, going to the big data era, it means that you start having so much data that you want to split storage and compute.
yeah, 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 yeah.
The traditional reason why big data was born was to maximize the way we can compute results from data that are massive data that uh, traditional technology couldn't actually uh,
Correct.
face. And in the end, we are repeating that experience through new technologies, but the concept, more or less, I agree with you, are the same with some balances. You go
Correct.
to traditional data warehousing and you get some um, referential integrity, for instance, that you cannot get with modern lakehouse like uh, Snowflake or stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah. All those things
give
are coming in.
guarantees of scaling out, horizontal scaling, but they cannot give you some other guarantees. So it's a balance, and going to the direction that you said of lake house, and so
Yeah, so that is where I was coming,
repeating the
right?
story. Yeah,
Yeah, just to complete my story, right? So I was just intentionally mentioning all those technologies. So we can come towards that where data mesh sits. So we have landing, we have staging, we have transform, all these things layer sits, right? Now you tell us where data mesh sits and where it is in this landscape. That is where I was coming to.
this is after I started working on data mesh, basically at day almost zero, when after a few months of the original Zamac articles, we started working on data mesh in a very big initiative for a large enterprise, worldwide large enterprise. And the journey of the data mesh probably is not the one that Zamak was expecting. She wrote a very good book about the methodology that she was imagining. But from that point, the noise around this paradigm has increased over time in a way that now the way people perceive data mesh, in my personal opinion, is completely off the original one.
Okay.
And this is not a fortune, actually, because it's not an improvement with respect to the original one, but it's a misunderstanding of the original one. The
Okay.
combination, which is the relationship between the layered architecture and the data mesh, actually, I would say there is not necessarily a strict relation, because a layered architecture is how you organize physically data, while data mesh is a way to organize data around some other principle, other dimensions. For instance, if you talk about ownership,
Okay.
data mesh revolves around 4 different pillars, just to mention, in the literature, which are the pillars. There is domain decentralization, there is data as a product, there is federated computational governance that sometimes is interpreted like federation governance, Federated governance or computational governance, like separate things, but they are a combination of things, and the self-service platform. Okay, so those are often considered separately when people with large enterprise who works on data mesh, like I can choose one of them and I'm still doing data mesh.
Okay.
But the reality is that you must combine them all together in a certain way to make a real data mesh that is not strictly related to the way you organize your data architecture. So you can implement a data mesh on top of a data warehouse somehow.
Okay.
If you want. It's not
Okay.
easy, but you can.
Definition high level I have is data lake is the enterprise, just like warehouse is the enterprise, and then data marts is domain or department level. Same goes for data lake versus mesh. Mesh is a domain level or department level lake house. Is my understanding is correct or wrong? It seems wrong actually, but that's the definition I just gave you, which is what is my perception about data mesh.
Yeah, I will take this completely different perspective, to be honest.
Okay.
Something that actually doesn't, it's not really expressed this way in the common literature, but for me is a way to look at the problem in the right perspective. From the right perspective is that the data mesh is a marketplace metaphor, a marketplace business model based on platforms, where a platform is a technology or a set of technology that abstract complexity from a class of users to resolve a specific class of problems. You have AWS is a platform. AWS is a platform that provides users with tons of tools to build a cloud native application. And this
Hmm.
is a class of problems, and there is a class of users. The same is for data mesh. Data mesh is how can I build a market where data producers, produce some data products for data consumers, and data consumers have the opportunity to consume data products that are guaranteed by the platform. So the platform is the mediator between producers and consumers that make it possible the transaction given by buying a data product from the platform, like I do in the AWS marketplace, the Amazon marketplace, if I want to buy an item, But if I buy an item from the marketplace, I have the guarantees from Amazon that the exchange of value, so the purchase, actually works. Do you imagine if you buy something on Amazon, the item doesn't arrive to you on time? That would be a mess. And
Hmm.
this transaction is the one that is guaranteed by Amazon. The transaction that the platform that manages data products must effectively guarantee is the exchange of value given by using a data product. Okay. So
Okay.
the platform is the guarantee for data consumers that what they are buying or what they are consuming is correct. Correct means is compliant with companies' rules, like data privacy, data quality, data whatever, Whatever guarantees that the data consumers want to get from data product that is consuming must pass through the platform that must guarantee that this happens. So, but if you want to give the data consumers a lot of guarantees, it means that the data producers must do a lot of things, right? Because you
Hmm.
can consume good data if someone is producing good data. So, what must actually do the data producers to produce good data? It must provide data quality, data observability. That means transparency about what you are producing, right? It's like when you buy an item and you have the traceability of your apple where it was cultivated, where it was distributed, how it was processed, okay? And so those guarantees of transparencies and trustworthiness that you want to get from the product, this data, must be provided by the producers, but must be guaranteed by the platform. So the platform is a controller, okay? And this is where computational governance resides. The computational governance resides in the platform and is the crucial integral part of a platform that manages data products. So just to make this more concrete, the way usually now data governance works is you produce data, you put data into production, okay? Then you have a catalog, the catalog scan data from production, and a big chain of data stewardships start looking into data and chasing data, understanding what's relevant and what's not, putting business metadata on top whenever they understand the data. If the data stewardship is just a bunch of people that cannot afford the whole data that are arriving, probably they will not be able to put all the metadata in the right way. But putting metadata at the end of the process, it's a mistake, because metadata are data to manage data. If you collect data to manage data at the end of the process, you cannot govern data. It's too late. Okay, so the platform must guarantee that the first action for a data product to exist is collecting metadata. So if you are someone that wants to create a data that is meaningful for the business, okay, and you are a data owner or you are a business owner that wants to initiate a data product, the first action that is required for the data owner is to collect all the metadata. Which metadata? Data privacy classification, cost management, ownership, whatever. All the metadata comes first. This is the key. And how you collect all the metadata? You collect all the metadata because you have the platform that simplify this exercise and make this very easy to do. Okay, so it's the platform that creates the abstraction, and it's the enablement to allow data producers to collect all the metadata in a very easy way.
Okay.
Once the data producers, even before starting to implement anything, collect all the metadata, you can drive all the deployment of data and artifacts to deploy data driven by metadata. For instance, if you collect data privacy metadata at the beginning, data privacy metadata, what they are, just to make this example more specific. Look at, you want to deploy a data product that talks about customers, okay? And you have a schema, physical schema, conceptual schema, let's say, that contains multiple fields. Then you have a specific physical schema that you want to deploy for that data product, that are all the fields like first name, last name, address, whatever, mobile, and you must be able to classify every single field if this is a PII or not, okay? This is just an example. And then you can deploy, given this set of metadata, you can deploy with whatever technology, okay, the same information with the same classification, preventing people to read the wrong data, because you can apply data masking automatically, since you have all the information required to apply data masking, because you have already the classification for PII. And this is done by a DevOps first approach. So you collect metadata, let's say in a Git repository, okay? And the Git repository contains the metadata, the Spark job that you want to process data with, okay? And the metadata contains the general information for the data product, the domain ownership, like the email of the product owner, the email of the distribution list for the dev team of that product. And then you have all the components, all the Spark job, all the metadata to drive everything. At that point, you have a single repository, for instance, with metadata and software and infrastructure to deliver whatever is necessary to produce that data.
Okay.
Then you pass through a CI/CD. The CI/CD is a gatekeeper, is where you can inject the computational governance. It's where you can say, okay, you are not putting metadata, guy. Let's put metadata before going to production. Otherwise, I'm not going to deploy anything for you. And the CI/CD is in the hands of a platform team that is implementing a platform that is guaranteeing everything to data consumers because it can put a blocker in the middle. Okay, this concept is key to understand that after that you take this approach in practice, you can build whatever with whatever layered architecture. Okay, you can deliver. Actually, this is not really data mesh. This is more general than data mesh, and then you can apply this to data mesh.
Okay.
If you, for instance, if you want to deliver a star schema on a data warehouse, okay, you anyway need to define the schema, right?
Yes.
Schema for facts and dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put those information in the descriptor of your data product that is actually the metadata, okay? And you put those metadata directly into the Git repository to stick with this mindset. And whenever you are not putting all the classification on all the facts and dimension before going to production, you are not going to deploy any table into the database, into the data warehouse. Also, you can stick on this data product descriptor that contains all those information, including data contracts, okay, just to add, popular terms. And you can publish those information into a catalog. At this point, you are not scanning every single table, even the meaningless one. You are publishing, so rather than pulling table in the catalog, even if they are not necessary, you are pushing only what is guaranteed by the platform. Because you are passing through a CI/CD that says, this table has passed all the metadata validation. We are putting metadata for PII. We are putting metadata for business terms, classification, the domain, all the necessary decoration that we want to actually put on top of our data product descriptor. And then this can go to the marketplace. Then this can go to the catalog. At that point, there is a big difference between catalog and marketplace. And this is a key difference. The key difference is that the catalog, you can find whatever. The marketplace, you find only what is guaranteed by the platform. And this is a crucial difference. At the moment, the market, okay, says a lot of things. There are many catalogs, I don't want to mention any. Most of the catalogs are very good catalog in the world. The most popular that you have in mind, they are very good catalog, but it's difficult for them to be really a marketplace because they are designed to be a catalogs that go, at the end of the process.
Mm-hmm.
They are not originating the metadata. They are pulling metadata. Since they are not originating metadata, so how can you govern something that you have not originated? While if you keep metadata into why the catalog does not originate metadata, because the first things that the catalog does is scanning metadata, technical metadata from a database. And so it's not originated from the catalog. It's originated in the database. If you keep the schema in the Git repository, okay, this is the moment where you are shifting left governance, originating the metadata in the Git repository. So you are not originating metadata in the database, in the data warehouse, in the catalog. You're originating metadata in the Git repository. This is a versionable information, traceable and versionable information. At that point, you can publish the metadata into the data warehouse because you publish the table, the view, the whatever you want. And then you can publish this information in the same way also in the catalog. The place that is originating the metadata is the Git repository. The way you are controlling that this metadata is compliant to the company rules is the CI/CD that is in the middle, and that is publishing everything to whatever target we want.
Okay.
So this is a pretty clean way to work, that if you think, Mustafa, is actually what happened to the software since 20 years now, 14 years probably. Okay, that is, you have a software that contains all the information. You keep many gate quality gate in the middle. You check if you have quality. You check if you have vulnerabilities. You check whatever you need to do in the CI/CD. And if you are in the right way, then you go publishing your software component. Data product. Data as a product means that we should look at data as a product, meaning that the product is something that we can have some guarantees on top. And this is the key way to look at data as a product. And then if you want to make this, we want to materialize this data as a product, you need a container that contains not data only, because data only is you don't do anything with data. You need the software to read data. You need the software to produce data.
Correct.
So if you want to take control, you must take control of software and infrastructure. And to take control, you must have information to control such a thing. And this information is metadata. So the container data product is metadata, infrastructure, and software that are necessary to manage the data.
Okay.
And this is the concept. Infrastructure, software, metadata, you can put in a Git repository. Then you can build your platform that take from those repository, put some, quality gate, as we were saying, that are based on metadata and driven by metadata, and this can be used to deploy whatever in a compliant way for the company.
Okay.
Once you have this, as we were saying, you can apply this to a data warehouse, a data lake, a data lake house, because it's always the same.
Okay, this is where I was coming, right? So now you have sketched the whole picture of, I think, basic requirement for data mesh, where you are saying to start with, you need to have a metadata, which everybody says ideal scenario is to have a metadata. Then you need to have a metadata sitting in the some Git here and there. Then you need to have an infrastructure. Then you have to have a value add, and then you go and implement. When you say value add, it is a data product because business is asking a product to be created for their use, or the other way around, you are creating a product which can generate a value for XYZ business, right? And
Yeah.
one data product can be people, different end users can take benefit from same one data product as well. Now, this is a basic definition of data mesh, what you're saying is. So now I'm wearing my solution architect. Yeah,
To be honest, this is not the definition made of data mesh,
okay.
but it's the foundational to put on top a data mesh. because the data mesh, my storytelling about what a data product is partial at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I would just to be more precise, I would add another attribute for the data product that is important,
Mm-hmm.
because we have talked about more technical aspect, infrastructure, software, and metadata.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a missing point that is really about data. It's the data model. The
Mm-hmm.
data model make a data product reusable in terms of data itself,
Mm-hmm.
and the reusability comes from the traditional data modeling that we want to apply in any way to our data product. So if you think that the reusability comes from a good snowflake model, okay, meaning star schema model linked to each other, then you can implement every single data product addressing a business object with a certain data model that is a star schema like, and then they are linked to each other through output ports that define a technical schema that is a star schema, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have that reusability. But this is not mandatory. Data modeling is something that really it's really impacting for a data mesh paradigm, because it's the way the data is reusable. The data product is reusable if the data model is reusable, because it's driven by data.
Yeah, of
And
course.
then we can govern the data product if we have governance of infrastructure, software, and metadata to produce that data model. So the container, infrastructure, software, metadata is architectural, let's say, or physical governance. But then to build, and this is what is called the architectural quantum, okay? And on top of the architectural quantum, you must have a data model that make the data product reusable, and then you have a data product.
What about data mesh? Where we have data mesh?
We have data mesh if we have a data product. So this combination, a reusable data model in a quantum, in architectural quantum, infrastructure, software, metadata. We have a data mesh if we have a strong reorganization of the company. It's nothing technological or technical. If you want to decentralize domain ownership, that is the first principle for data mesh to be mentioned. That's nothing to do with architectural quanta and CICD and whatever. And this is a strong misunderstanding of the paradigm. If you want to decentralize ownership, this means that you are reorganizing your company to have a data domain
Mm-hmm.
that are autonomous. Autonomous means that they can manage the data end to end, from design to deployment, and
Mm-hmm.
they have all the skills to do that. While the normal thing is the normal organization that we can see in the today's company is that usually you have the so-called centralized data team that is
Mm-hmm.
usually linked to a specific technology. Like there is a data team that works on Databricks and they know how to fix Databricks things. There is the one that works in
Mm-hmm.
Cloudera, they know how to fix Cloudera things. So whenever data comes into a data technology, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the usual ownership is that who owns the technology owns the data. But this is wrong. We should say that who knows the knowledge owns the data. Customers is customers if you have this into Oracle or into Databricks.
Yeah, customer
So
is customer. It can sit any
yeah,
technology.
Okay, so decentralized domain ownership means that if you are a domain for customers, you know how to deploy end-to-end data in
Mm.
Oracle, Databricks, Cloudera, whatever.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility end-to-end to manage the deployment, the quality, and whatever,
So,
and whatever is related to the data. And this is organizational.
yeah. So what we are saying is when we say customer, so from customer, there can be multiple data products can be created, right? So are we saying that decentralization of ownership of domains of entities, are we saying that? Or we are saying that we can have multiple, again, it comes towards the data product. Data product serves a particular business use case. And this business use case can have multiple domains into it, right? You create some product, it might have customer, it might have.
I will say the contrary. I will say that a data product is owned by single domain.
Is
There must
owned by
be a
single domain, is
single.
it?
Yeah. I mean, domain
Ah.
ownership means that a data product is owned. If you want to build a data product that talks about customers, there
Hmm.
must be a domain that cares about customers, okay,
Hmm.
that build that data product. Or just to make another example, if you are the marketing department of your company,
Hmm.
the business object marketing campaign,
Hmm.
okay, is a responsibility of the marketing department to be built. So the marketing department must build the marketing campaign data product, okay, and
Yeah.
it should be responsible for quality, observability,
No, no, hold on.
traceability.
Hold on. No, no,
Okay.
the little bit confusion in my mind, right?
Yeah.
As you give an example of marketing, fine. I am a marketing guy.
Mhm.
I want to build a data product. But in data product, yes, I don't want to build a data product that how many employees I have in organization, what they are doing, how their demographic. I don't want that. My marketing will all the products which is being sold by the company, I will have a data product on it.
Mhm.
And those products can come from different domains, right? So my data, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding for data product is the end use case, and use case can be anything which generate a profitable business for you or which can generate some
So
value
you,
in
you
such
see,
a
you
way.
see the data product oriented to the business case, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So
But
when
but the
we
product but the product must be the data product. So we call it we talk about a data mesh because
yeah.
we want to make the data mesh populated by reusable data products. Reusability means that you have a data product that can serve multiple business cases. But it means that you are building data product that produce data sets that can be used by multiple business cases. If you have
Mhm.
a data set for each business cases, you are multiplying your complexity. While you must build something that is satisfying as much as use cases you can. It's a market demand offer dynamics. Also
Okay,
this.
let's come back to data
I
mesh.
want to, yeah,
Yeah.
if I want to sell this pencil, okay,
Hmm.
and I'm satisfying only one customer,
Hmm.
I can start producing multiple pencils, okay, one for each customers,
Hmm.
and they will be very happy because this is super customized for each customers, okay.
Correct.
But I'm multiplying the effort for production. What I can say is that I'll try to fit my only production of pencil for to match most of the use cases or to match most of the satisfaction. Okay, and if they need to put a comma on the pencils, they will be their own effort because it's what they need to add on top of my pencil to make their job. And this make me as a producer to produce a minimum data product that
Mhm.
is satisfying most of the market in my data mesh.
Most of
This
the
means
market. See, that
most
is
of the
where,
market, where the market is given by consumers.
no, I agree. So my confusion is still between, my apologies, between data product, how to map with the data mesh, because data mesh is to decentralize uh, domain or business ownership. My point is there can be a product which might have multiple businesses there. So are we saying that to produce one data product, there might be multiple data mesh, or we are calling that one product as one data mesh solution? And that is where my disconnect is. I'm unable to
So
understand.
data mesh, I mean, I don't understand if I understand. So data mesh is a population of data products where the mesh is given by a network of data products that consume from each other. Okay. So the data mesh is only one data mesh that contains all the
Oh,
data products
so you
connected.
are saying there cannot be multiple data. Data mesh is one logical
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the ambition. You have a company complex as you want that has
Mhm.
a single big data mesh where every data products consume from other data products, okay, in a single global network that is controlled and governed by the computational governance. So from by the mechanism that we were mentioning at the beginning.
Okay, so we are getting there. So you're saying the one sentence which you mentioned, you are saying if multiple data, which is a grammatical translation of data mesh, means there are multiple data products which can talk to each other.
Yeah,
That can be grammatical definition, or we can say translation of a data meshes. All those can connect to each other, can
yeah,
serve purpose. That's some data mesh, right? But
yeah.
for that, are we saying that that is one data mesh, is it? And then there has to be a centralized governance team. So
The,
all these,
the centralization, the governance is centralized, encoded
yes,
in the platform. The management is decentralized. Management means working on use cases. Governance means
yeah,
governing the way everyone produce
should
data.
process. Yes, yes, agree. I agree on that. Now, actually, we have a time check. It's a very good discussion going on, right? We already are 45 minutes on. So, 40 minutes on. We have 10, 15 more minutes. So, what we are saying here is, I am getting there. So, we are saying we have reached to a data product. Data product has to generate value. Data product can be any technology. It can be a 3NF, it can be a star schema, it can be any data model. Data mesh doesn't care. Correct?
Yeah,
Correct. It doesn't care. Now, when data products talk to each other, you need to have a centralized governance. Governance will govern that, hey, in my organization, I only allow you to implement data vaults, for example. That's a governance policy. Then all data products should follow data vault. That's a governance, right? So they are managing that. But at a product level, everyone should govern is a wrong word, manage their own product at a core. Is
yeah,
that also a
yeah,
concept of data mesh? That they
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
decentralized product ownership and following
This
that
is
governance.
this is the real ownership. So just to give you my perspective of where there is the misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there is I wrote an article on this because it's pretty common that data mesh is confused with the data consumption layer, for instance, of data warehouse architecture, for
I was
instance.
about to come there. I was
Yeah,
about to there. That's a big
yeah.
confusion. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a big confusion there because multiple. I mean, there is the idea that self-service platform means Snowflake or whatever platform that is easy to use at the consumption layer without any technical, concern
Mm-hmm.
for business user. But this is not real decentralization. Because for a business user to combine data at the consumption layer of a data warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
you need to build all the data stack before the consumption layer, right?
Hmm.
And who
Hmm.
is building that data stack? Probably there is a central team that is building all the data stack, and this team is not a real owner of the data because it's not an expert of the data semantic.
So when you say
Probably they
data,
are,
so when you're saying data, just for our audience, when you're saying data, data of that product, because if a centralized team creating all those products, of course, one team cannot have a knowledge, good knowledge of all data products. Cannot be.
yeah,
It's humanly
yeah.
not possible. What we are saying is there should not be one data development teams. Everyone should have their own team because they know their product, not domain, but product. We are talking about decentralization
Well,
or
and all the products, they are naturally belonging to a domain, because a domain is a domain of knowledge. So every company, your own company, my company, every company has multiple domain of knowledge. Sometimes they reflect the organization, sometimes they don't. They don't. But if you
mm,
are if you are an utility company, you have a distribution network, you have a generation, you have uh, smart metering, you have some domains, they exist even if you don't see them, okay?
yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. So data products, since they are they must be interpreted from a semantic perspective, they belongs to a domain of knowledge, and in the domain of knowledge you must be autonomous to do data mesh. This is
Ah,
the
so,
point.
so we are
And
saying within one domain there can be multiple products. That's what you're referring.
yeah,
So we are saying if there are 100 data products in an organization, every organization of course is different, but every organization has certain number of domains. There might be 5 or 6 or 10 domains.
yeah,
So we are saying there has to be in other words, just like a taxonomy, there has to be a categorization of domains, and each product should go into that domain, and that domain owner, every team should be decentralized team should be sitting there to own all those products. So there'll be domain ownerships of products. That's what you're saying, right?
yeah. And in fact, when we do like a data strategy initiative, one of the point we put on the table is domain identification.
Ah, so now I'm good. So now we are talking about to start with. First, we have to just like data world, right? When we start data world, we start looking into the entities. When we start data warehouse, we start looking towards what is customer, what is product. We'll start looking and start building from bottom to top, 3NF warehouse, right? When we start creating a star schema, what we look at, what is the business dashboard or KPI. So data mesh, you are saying first we have to identify domains. Once we have domain, then product comes. And when
Yeah,
product comes, these domain owners are the one who is the decision makers, who is the domain experts, who will have their own team to run all these data. Of course, each data product will have its own internal team to manage its own data product. But there has to be a data domain owner sitting there who own that accountability. That is what
of
you're
course,
saying.
this is ideal, but
Mhm.
then you have big and small companies.
Hmm.
Maybe that small companies uh, don't have, mm, the availability for a single development team for each domain. Then they still have like a centralized team. But the mindset must be that you must have a team, okay, even of shared people, but a team that is dedicated to a data product with a specific ownership. And most of all, the data owner must belong to the domain. It must be something that can say this data product is correct and take responsibility on the data product delivery.
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah,
So we are on the right track. Now I understand. Now I am understanding. Okay, now
good.
we have domains, we have domain owners, products are setting it, each product have their own. Now if I so each product have so now there is centralized governance as well. Each product owners will have their own governance based on the governance standard and guidelines based on their domain. and they will follow the enterprise centralized governance standard and policies as well. They have to
Yes,
cooperate on, right?
yes.
Now, when we expose data, when we are saying all data products can talk to each other, are we saying that data products within one domain can talk to each other, or data products across the domains can also talk to each other?
They can talk to each other in whatever way they want under the governance control,
Okay,
because
next
uh,
question.
because
Got it, got it.
also access management is
Yeah, got it.
governed by the platform.
Next part, next question related to same. Now we are saying in there are three domains, each domain has.
Actually, Mustafa, just an observation.
Hmm.
The more there is a inter-domain consumption, the more you are exploiting the power of data mesh,
Yeah, see
because
that
you are breaking silos.
breaking silos. So
Yeah.
we are saying data product should talk to ideally should talk to within one domain, not cross domain. Are we saying that?
No, I'm saying that the more we empower cross-domain consumption, the more
Hmm.
we are breaking silos of the company.
Which is good.
There is more data-driven
Yeah, which is
reasoning
good, right?
around. Yeah,
Which is good, right? And that is
yeah,
data
yeah,
mesh,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, next question. When we say data products can talk to each other and cross data products can talk to each other, are we saying read only, or are we saying other data product, either it is within same domain or across domain, can read it and do transformation as well? Are we saying that?
No, not data products should write data into other data products. Who generates data is owner of the data. So
So
data
they
product,
can only read,
yeah.
they cannot do the transformation, because my problem is if I create a data product, I keep giving too many data products and they use this data to do some more transformations there,
Yeah,
then
yes.
this cannot decom.
Each data product can generate data, okay, with a new business meaning, starting from the transformation data that they read only from other data products.
And they can do transformation as well, is it?
And they can do this. Yes,
Oh.
if you're building a billing data products, you will need measures from a meter. Okay, you will need the users to attribute the meters to the measures to the users, and
Yeah.
you're building the billing. So you
See,
have a consumer aligned data products, the
hmm.
so-called consumer aligned data products, that is consuming from other data products, making a business transformation.
No, but this bring a challenge, Ugo, because I end up creating a product for a time being, not a time being, of course, there was a value. Then 10 other data products start consuming from here
Yeah.
and they start creating their own star schema transformation. Now, tomorrow, this data product loses its value, its business value is gone. This goes away. Then there's an impact on all rest of the data products which was
If there
consumed.
are if there are data products that are using these products, its value cannot be lost. If
Ah, that's where we are coming from. We have to
I
very
mean,
carefully.
data, the only way to say that data has value if someone is using this data.
Using
This
for
is the
which
only
purpose?
way.
See, using for which purpose? Because one data product can have dashboard and XYZ. COVID comes. COVID comes, the whole value of this data product gone. So there's a because we know that after every 12 to 18 months nowadays processes are changing based on the regulatory requirements, regulatory policies, product changes, right? The whole thing changes, right? AI is moving like anything, right? AI products today after 12 months might be completely different. Right now, it's a wild, wild west. They can do whatever they want, right? After 12 months, 30 months, I think they will hardly be doing a lot of things. Very 10% what they can do right now. Now value goes. Now the other data product which is consuming from here, there will be a challenge. So now what workaround I can think of is, correct me if I'm wrong, we are saying in data mesh, if data products are talking to each other, there has to be a genuine value generation which is dependent on the business operations. So this product cannot be decommed. If this product get decommed,
The,
the
the point
operations
is,
of business will be decommed.
yeah, in a certain way, when I was saying that the product must be reusable,
Yeah.
okay, it means it must survive to
Must
changes.
survive. Yes.
Yeah. So there are two ways to interpret data products. Okay, there is a traditional one that is more peripheral. It's more something that you know if also in the past or in the past literature, a report or KPI can be data products, but they can change very fastly
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah, that's
depend.
what I'm referring. That's what I'm
Yeah,
referring to. Yeah.
the data product or data is a product for data mesh. Data is a product for data mesh has a different or alternative meaning that says that this must be reusable and long term. It's
See, I have a comment
it's a
here.
long term investment for the company.
Okay, I have a comment here. See, when we are saying data product and data as a product, totally different things. Data product can be a use case. A CEO says, "Hey, there is a there is an event coming, and our product will be can is able to sell a lot during that season. Create a data product for me, but that
Yeah.
is use case driven, and that data product will die after that event. Simple that, or maybe it will be reusable next season. So
I,
that is
I,
not a data product in data
when,
mesh, right?
Yeah, I will say that is not really eligible to be durable, and you want to build the data as a product means that this is a durable investment. You
So
are
we are talking
building
about
something.
data as a product, right? We are not talking. We are saying a data product which can be
I
a
mean,
data as a product.
when people friendly, everyone says a data product also for data as a product when talking about data mesh. But when you see people, uh, fighting for data as a product and data product, it's because there is this difference in the literature around
Yeah,
data.
yeah, yeah,
That is a deep difference because as you
yeah.
were correctly mentioning, it's a totally different way you see the investment on your data production. You are producing a data product in data mesh as a durable long-term investment.
Yes. So we are saying a data product which can be treated as a data as a product that can be part of data mesh, because if you create a data product as considering data as a product means you're preparing this data for reusability of many people.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
in your mind.
And that was my pencil, metaphor.
Ah,
So it's something that you must be stable in the
okay.
market. You
So we
want
have
to,
cracked it.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
cracked it. So now I really am on top of it. So what we are saying is, first of all, you have to find a domain in the organization. Within domain, you end up creating a data products which can be treated as a data as a product. It's not those data products which have few dashboards, which you have used use
yeah.
cases, which people is not pulling. Different data products cannot pull from that. No use.
Until it's ephemeral or peripheral, I would say. I mean, until no one is using this in another way, you don't need to put mind on any reusability. When
Hmm.
you want to implement something, design a data that is a data asset, where asset means that you
Yeah.
are capitalizing this
Yes.
investment in the long term. Then
Hmm.
you want to build a data product in the data mesh that is a durable investment for you, and everyone can rely on the company on that data to build on top analytics or KPIs, reporting, whatever.
Okay. So because we are right on top, we hardly have enough time. So what we are saying is, just to summarize data mesh. Data mesh is not about data modeling. It's not about platform. It's not about infrastructure. It is about creating a data products within certain domain, and those data products, which is a data as a product as well, which are reusable and is a core for the business. It's not
Yeah,
something for a time being a data product to create. So that is what data mesh is
And
all about.
I would add also that yes, there is also an architectural part, not infrastructure, not technology, but architectural part. It is making sure that the platform plays the role of controller or governor, okay, for the products. If you don't have the computational part of the, there is the pillar that is federated computational governance. Federation comes from pulling in domains, taking
Mhm.
requirements about what is necessary for the data governance, but then you have to code those requirements into the platform, and this is where computational governance comes in.
Okay,
Okay.
computational governance. Can you little bit elaborate this?
Yeah, computational governance is what you were saying at the beginning. So you have your, for instance, Git repository with metadata, and then
Okay,
you have the CI/CD that is the gatekeeper for you to
okay.
produce the right data. When you pass through this DevOps first approach, then you can guarantee something to the data consumer. Otherwise, you don't have governance.
Yeah.
It's a it's a fake governance. Otherwise,
So by the way, well, actually, I totally now understand what data mesh is. Thanks for that. But there are a lot of negativity in the market for data mesh as well as data vault. People says current data mesh and current data vault is not which was actually created. Would you like to comment on it? Not on data vault. Can you comment on data mesh that it's not?
yeah, but the reason why data mesh is not what was invented for is because there is a big misunderstanding on the paradigm. There is a low practice, to be honest, in my opinion, and uh, there are large companies that approach this paradigm lightly, while it is necessary to really elaborate on it, to understand on it before doing a multi-millionaire investment on a large enterprise.
Hmm.
And the pure understanding of principles, okay, make you build castles on top of misunderstandings that don't fix issues.
Hmm.
Okay, if you don't understand what really means ownership for data mesh, and you want to rely only on your idea of consumption layer of data warehousing, you're completely off the road.
Hmm.
If you don't implement computational governance, you should implement computational governance, and you rely on the last feature of automated policies of the best data catalog in the world, okay, you are doing the traditional data governance with some more decoration, but you are not doing real data governance for data
Hmm.
mesh. And those misunderstandings, so the lack of um, investigation of the paradigm prior big implementation, this creates also a real problem, because it's like you lose trust on the paradigm, but actually it's not a failure of the paradigm, it's a failure of the understanding.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know? It's like people that says agile doesn't work really. Okay, it's perhaps because you don't really understand how to do agile. It's not easy.
Yeah, yeah, so that big confusion on agile as well, right? I'm not a big fan of agile.
Just doing a parallel, but I mean,
Yeah.
for data mesh, it's more or less the same, and probably it's the same for Datable. You cannot transform your company on the basis of fluffy ideas.
Hmm.
And sometimes it may seem like uh, heavy, the things that I say, but sometimes I believe that large initiatives fail for pure misunderstanding.
Yeah, I had a session with
Pure
Remco,
misunderstanding,
one of
sorry.
the guy in Netherlands. Had a good session on data vault. Okay, thank you so much, Ugo. It was pleasure
Thank you,
talking to
Mustafa.
you.
Yeah.
And this is our first session, should not be last session, right?
No, call me in whenever you want.
Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day. Take care.
You too. You too. Bye.
Bye bye.